Before, I was like anyone else before. I had a life full of innocence and dreams with hope for a bright future. But that was before I got trapped in a world most people can't imagine. A world of darkness, deception, and pain and terror. Before, I never had to wonder, what cruel thing are they going to do to me next? Who will I be sold to? Is today the day my life ends?
Human trafficking is a hidden crime within our communities. It's happening right before your eyes. I never realized how much trafficking was happening until I entered and started working with Call to Freedom. My name is Becky Rasmussen. I'm the Executive Director for Call to Freedom. We're an anti-human trafficking group that offers supportive services to those that are victimized by human trafficking and actually sexual exploitation. We're located in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and we're really committed to making sure that every victim of human trafficking is on their way and has the ability to become a survivor.
Trafficking looks different in every situation. It can look very different. It can look like domestic abuse. It can involve addiction, mental health, all of those different things. Each individual kind of has a different story and has a variety of different things that have happened to them.
In August of 2015, I went on an outreach in Sturgis, South Dakota. It was one of the largest attended Sturgis rallies to records, about 400,000 plus bikers. We were just doing outreach and I didn't know what that looked like until I met a young girl. She was very scared, she was very fearful. I just asked her what her name was and she said, "My name is Marissa." Apparently I was saying some words to her that meant something to her because she started crying. And in that conversation, I recognized a very young, vulnerable, fearful young lady that wasn't in a good situation, but I didn't know what because she didn't disclose to me that night. The last words were to me, "You have no idea what kind of day I've had. You have no idea." And she was gone. They survive things that we never would, have the ability, the tenacity to do. When they walk through the doors, pretty much everything in their life has been stripped from them. From identification to finances to their identity. They are told that they are something that they're not, and to reestablish that and to be able to help them go to that next step is definitely a long process. Some may have been in a trafficking victim for 3 months, and others, we had a woman who was 61 years old who walked through the doors of Call to Freedom and had been trafficked for over 50 years of her life.
They need to feel safe. If they don't feel safe and they don't feel like they're going to have a place to call home, they're not going to stick around. Typically the fight or flight kind of comes in and we lose them. They tend to get scared and run off and get back into a vulnerable situation that kind of typically ends them back where they were previously. So Marissa's housing project is supportive housing for those women coming out of human trafficking. It's 7 efficiency apartments. They are all individual apartments, so they move in and they're completely furnished. They all have bedroom, kitchen, living, bath.
One of the things about Marissa's housing project is not only is it supportive living, but it equips them to be able to transition back into the community successfully because they have gained the skill set to be able to move forward and to adapt that routine or those successful coping skills into their life.
Typically, when they walk through the doors of Marissa's house, we pass them the key and say, "This is your apartment." And it's typically just tears. It's weeping, it's thank yous. Just can't believe that they have their own space for once. I would love to look back and see that we grew from a small apartment complex into a larger one, able to hold capacity instead of constantly having a wait list.
If you were walking down the street right now and you bumped into Marissa, what would you say?
I would say, Marissa, your life has value. Nobody should ever be victimized. However, your legacy will live on, and that you are impacting many lives because of that one encounter. And I wanted to honor you. I wanted you to know that that even though I didn't know your story, that 10 minutes, that short, brief time that we had is going to be used for something greater. And it was my privilege to meet you.